There's only a handful of people that you'll ever meet that have been to the Olympics. My mum said, you've got 6 months to find a job.
How did you deal with that? How do you deal with that pressure? Is it a pressure? Michelle Griffith-Robinson, Olympian, life coach, personal trainer, charity ambassador. She was the first woman to jump over 14 metres in the Commonwealth Games. Represented Great Britain for 2 decades as a triple jumper and competed at the Olympics. Michelle is an absolute powerhouse with incredible wisdom. Thank you for joining me today.
Oh, thank you so much for having me on. Yeah, thank you guys.
No problem, thank you. So can we start with your sporting career and kind of where all that began and sort of the journey there, if that's possible?
So 12 years old, Sunday morning, my mum was going to a Keep Fit class, and it was a Keep Fit class, and I remember it being interrupting the Keep Fit class, and it was to Rock Your Boat Baby.
Oh, wow.
So many years ago, and the song is still etched firmly into my mind now. And my mum said to me, "You're going to have to come down the sports centre with me because your brothers don't want to look after you. I'm one of 4. 3 older brothers and myself, the youngest." Yes, guys, I know you feel sorry for me.
Yes.
But that's built me resilience, having those brothers.
Yeah, I think it's great having brothers. I think they give you kind of like a bit of a reality check. As a woman, I know a lot of women who have brothers as, you know, and it's sort of slightly different. Yeah, they're great.
It brings balance, and there's definitely a place for brothers in this world.
Yes, and fun.
She says now she's older. And went down the track. And my mum still says today it's the best pound she's ever invested in me.
Wow, that's amazing.
And that's where I realised that I could do sport, and I was not yet average. I was above average. I was excellent.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes, you know, we downplay, you know, our strengths. Absolutely. I was excellent. I shone really brightly at that track in Wembley, and the track memories for me were, you know, such a diverse set of people, you know, different economical backgrounds, different races, but the one thing we had in common was sport. Going there to have a nice time. It's very social, but also training really well. And actually, in the end, that's where I found my real strengths and abilities, and that was the start of my Olympic journey.
I guess that's like a family as well, almost, isn't it? To have that, you know, that sporting family around you. It's like a secondary family. Absolutely,
you know, and that's where you build your biggest foundation. And recently unfortunately, I went to a funeral of one of my closest friends, and she was only 52 and she died from bowel cancer. And we went there, and it's the first time I've seen people in 35 years.
Wow.
At this funeral. And that's your foundation, you know, and that's what makes you who you are today. So sport has afforded me so much in a myriad of ways.
It's almost that support that everyone needs. It's just having people around you Yeah. So just saying, obviously at 12 you found that out. Had you not noticed that in any way then through sort of sports days or anything as well?
Yeah, I think sports days I would kick the boys' ass. I would kick their ass. I was better than the boys.
That is amazing.
There's one boy at my school called Ricky that he used to beat me, and then in one of the sports days I whooped him at the 200 metres, and the whole school was like, "I can't believe you let Michelle beat you. I can't believe." It's a bit of bravado.
That's brilliant.
So it did help that I went on to you know, elite sport.
Yeah.
But yeah, I did realise that I was good. I came from a very sporty family. My youngest brother Sean was a professional goalkeeper for Watford.
Yeah.
Both my other brothers were very athletic, karate as well. So my mum always encouraged us to do sport. I think she felt that having boys as well, you know, expend their energy, you know, get them out doing stuff. And it's very different to now. Is of course you do have the social media and the gadgets and everything else. You know, you had 4 channels, babe. If you're lucky,
yeah.
I think it was 3.
I know 3. I was gonna say.
So we had, you know, you had to go out and find your own fun.
Yeah.
And so I came from a sporty background. Used to play knockdown ginger with my brothers, and they used to say to me, I said, "Can I play?" He said, "If you get us caught, you ain't coming with us again." So for those that can relate, you can really relate.
And was there any competition between you then and your brothers? Was there kind of a mild competition in any way?
No, they looked after me.
Did they?
My brothers, right? Yeah, my brother used to steal my toner. My youngest brother used to steal my toner. It's a toner called 1006. I don't even know if it exists anymore.
Yeah.
But my best friend used to say to me, "Your brother's always saying to you, I haven't done anything. And he put water in the jar because it's a see-through jar. So There was no competition.
No,
My brothers loved me. They still do love me.
Yeah.
The
most important question, were you faster than them? No, I'm joking.
No, I weren't as fast as my brothers. They
Really?
No, I wasn't as fast as
Wow.
them. But I'm better than them naturally.
Of course. And that brings us on to sort of your sporting achievements, because wow, you're just incredible. Some of the achievements, you know, even just sort of the first woman was it in the Olympics?
First woman in the Commonwealth.
In the Commonwealth it was. Yeah. No, I mean in terms of when... Wasn't it, we first came in, the triple jump?
Yes. So we were the first, I'm going to call it cohort of people to go to Olympics. The first triple jump was in the 1996 Olympics in Atlanta. So I like to be the first.
And you were the first person the first woman
to go there from GB. Myself, Ashia Hansen, were the first people from GB to go to Olympic Games. It was the inaugural Olympic Games for triple jump.
And how did that feel? Like, tell me about that. That must have been an incredible moment.
I think for me, when I look back to the Olympic Games, if we go back to the letter arriving through the door, and if you think there's only a handful of people that you'll ever meet that have been to the Olympics, let's be very honest here.
True.
And that letter coming through the door and saying, Michelle Griffith, you have been chosen to represent Great Britain and Northern Ireland at the 1996 Olympic Games, it's a goosebump moment.
Yeah.
And then when you walk into the Olympic Stadium on your event, and there's 90,000 people there. And just for a minute, if you just think, you close your eyes and you think there's 90,000 people.
Just here, never mind who's watching.
Forget the billions that are on TV and global CBS and all the other channels that's out there. It was a pinch me moment.
And how did you deal with that? How do you deal with that pressure? Is it a pressure? Do you feel a pressure in that moment?
You're going to have an element of pressure. You're going to have an element of nervousness.
Yeah.
But it's adrenaline, it's excitement, and it's also, you know what, be proud. You know, you're standing there in your GB tracksuit walking into the hot Olympic Stadium. Yeah. Because it was in Atlanta, it was boiling hot. And I'm proud, and I would say that's one of my proudest achievements. Yeah. Walking into the Olympic Stadium. Not the proudest, but one of the proudest achievements for me.
Is the proudest achievement? Is it the 14 meters?
No, I'm going to say I retired in 2006 at the Commonwealth Games in Melbourne. And my proudest achievement was finishing my last ever career jump in front of my mum.
That's amazing.
My stepfather, my little girl, and my husband.
Wow,
that was powerful. It was the first time in many years that my mum could afford to come over. Yeah. And see me, and that just felt fitting that I retired on that day.
That's such a beautiful moment.
So that's probably
really
my proudest
special.
Moment.
And what was it like then, going back to the sort of 14 meters and jumping? That is an incredible.
I actually jumped it in Sheffield in 1994, and when I jumped over 40 meters there, and I remember landing in the pit, and I remember going, yes, boom, I've done it. Yeah, and you could just see that excitement in me. And I created history.
That is incredible.
I created history. People went on and jumped over 15 meters, which I never had the chance to do. But, it's
do you
always
think that mindset, though, potentially that you gave, I'm sure that was a part of her journey.
I'm definitely going to be part of that journey, that I was able to egg her on, make her dream bigger, jump bigger. And I think that, even now, one of our British athletes, just Naomi Metzger, just jumped over 14 meters and got a bronze medal at the Commonwealth Games recently. And she sent me a message just to say, thank you. You've inspired me along the way. And that's actually what you want to see.
Yeah, absolutely.
You want to see that there's your job in everything you do, whether it's in sport, in music, in academia. You want to be a trendsetter. You want to be the one that people can say, do you know what, you helped me. And it might be a minuscule help. Yeah. In life, you want to be that one that can say, you know what you did, that little bit of advice, that little bit of you showing up or turning up, that helped me. So to receive that from Naomi, I thought was very, very sweet and gracious of her. And
it's just incredible. So in terms of your mindset then to achieve that, do you have sort of any sort of, when you were doing that, did you have a mental preparation? What was it? Was it more the physical, or is it the mental, or is it the
combination
two together?
Combination. I think physical was more, there's more emphasis on physical back then.
Yes.
Definitely more emphasis on physical back then, because it was more, the mindset and psychology wasn't as big as it is now around in sport. But there were still elements of the psychological side of it, you know, being in the best frame of mind, and visualization was huge back then.
Yeah.
So I used to visualize jumping over 1450. I could see myself hop, skip, jump, landing past the 1450 mark. So that was part of the visualization of it. Then there was elements of your sleep, how important sleep would affect you, and the people around you, and positivity. And so, you know, there was amalgamation and subtle things, not as obvious as people speak about them now, but 20 years ago, it was subtle things of, you know, make sure you're around people that dream big, think big, you know, your Jonathan Edwards, Colin Jackson, your Linford Christies. These are people that I would look up to as a young girl.
Yeah.
That were game changers.
So that you would have those mentors.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You'd have them and they wouldn't even be called mentors.
No.
That was just called your social circle.
Really, yeah.
You know, I remember being at the Olympic Games with Linford Christie and Merlin Ottey, who was one of the best ever sprinters in the world, Jamaican sprinter. And them just cooking, you know, doing a West Indian cook-up in the village at one of their houses and inviting us all around. So just subconsciously, you're around the best in the world.
Yeah.
So you must be going to do great.
You must be picking, and picking that up as well.
Absolutely.
And thinking about, and you're going to do great, of course.
Absolutely.
But
Just from being in their environment.
do you feel like they were different to, you know, how other people maybe at home had been and how they think about things? Did you see a noticeable difference in that kind of mentality maybe, or the way they get through life, would you say?
I would say that because of their foundation might be more difficult is why they went on to excel at the level they did. Right. They came from very humble beginnings. Both Merlin and Linford Christie came from humble beginnings and worked their backsides off to get the accolades that they got in the end. So I think that in itself allowed them to have the resilience, mental toughness to go on to be some of the greatest ever athletes the world has ever seen.
Yeah. And do you think that's about a certain amount of sacrifice as well then?
Yeah. I use the word sacrifice loosely because I don't really see for any of us that it was, yes, we had to obviously sacrifice. So we couldn't go out clubbing, raving, drinking, smoking, eating what we want. We had to be very strict within those parameters. But it's not a sacrifice, it's something you love.
No, exactly, yeah. When you're passionate about something.
When you want to be there,
it's
not a sacrifice. It's not.
I think sometimes it seems, especially in today's sort of world, it seems people want to just get somewhere though very quickly and overnight. And I think sometimes it's just understanding that actually there's a lot of work that's gone in. And actually, it can be wonderful and amazing because you want it and you're willing to do it. But actually, you know,
most
of the time, these great achievements will take so much.
They so do.
Yeah.
They're not overnighters. And that's in everything in life. Again, I speak a lot through the sporting lens because that's the lens I came through.
Yeah.
But in everything in life, it is about that constant grind, keeping going. When days are tough, when days are dark, when it's raining outside, when it's snowing, Christmas Day, Boxing Day, and saying, you know what, your coach says you've got a session to do. But your family's waiting to have your Christmas lunch or your Christmas dinner, and you're saying, guys, I need you to understand. I need to put in my sessions. Yeah. And I remember my coach saying to me on one particular Boxing Day, he said, what are you up to today? I said, I've got Christmas dinner with my mum's family are coming around for Christmas dinner, and he said, just to let you know, the Russian girl's out training.
I'm training too, just so
you
know.
All right then, love, I'm going to tell my family where to. You know, and actually he's right.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's right.
Absolutely.
The Russian girl was training because her drive was bigger than just having turkey and roast potatoes and cranberry sauce. And that's the reality. In anything that is worth having, in everything we do, and people will be listening and agreeing, it's tough.
Absolutely. I've seen it so many times. I think, you know, I'm obsessed with these kind of stories of success and how people live their life. I find it fascinating, you know, how someone can be in similar circumstances, yet one person will do this with their life and one person does that. And it's really, there's little secrets in there.
Little secrets, there's little golden nuggets of, you know, we're both in, I had people that were probably more talented than me when it comes back to track and field. And some would really do really well, but it's what made me choose to carry on and what made that person choose to regress or not carry on.
And not do it,
And I hear it all the time. Oh, I was really good at school. I was like, oh, no. Everyone was bloody good at school.
But what did you do? Yeah,
and the difference. There's a difference. And it's not a big difference. And it's about, I made that choice.
Yeah.
That I'm going to pursue this pathway, and I'm going to do it to the very best of my ability, at all costs.
And do you think that you're more of a person who would look, because I feel like a real positive energy from you generally. I think it's just, but does it come down to even just your attitude as well then?
Absolutely, you're so right. Attitude. It is your attitude. It's your outlook on life. It's knowing that actually sometimes it's tough. Yeah. But it'll be worth it. But it is that mindset of, I can't do this. Oh, I'm not getting that. No, I'm going to make it happen. Yeah. And a quick thing that I want to share was, I remember when I got my funding stopped from UK athletics, and I dropped out of university, and my mum said to me, you've got 6 months to find a job. And I applied to 10 places, and everyone's like, do you really think you're going to get any sponsorship? I said, someone's going to have me. Yeah. And I said, but if I don't apply to these companies for sponsorship, how will I ever know? Exactly.
That's it. People will put up so many barriers instead of saying, actually, because you'll never know. If you never try, that is the sure way to fail. It's like, if you try, there's a what if, there's a maybe.
There's a potential, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
But if you don't, there's a definitely no.
Definitely. And I think, like, I've seen a person who I've seemed to think would be an incredible person to mention at this point would be your mum. I think, wow, I've heard you speak about your mum. Can we talk about your mum a little bit and kind of that influence in your life?
My mum is my best friend, my shero, and people ask me all the time, who inspired you growing up? And they expect me to say this athlete. Nah, it's no athlete. Watching my mum do 2 jobs, work through some hardships in her life, and I don't want to speak badly about my father who's passed, but a difficult marriage with my dad. Yeah. And still coming and still going and still conquering. And that's my biggest inspiration, is my mama. And of the last 3 years, my mum's had it exceptionally tough. She had a full stomach removal.
Goodness.
And then she lost my stepdad to COVID, and then she lost my dad as well. And yet she still wakes up draws the curtains and say, today's another day.
Wow, what an incredible mindset that is to have and to have around you sort of growing up.
Absolutely. And I would say, Mum, I'd come home from a competition. Yeah. She said, and she calls me Miss Amanda. My name's Michelle Amanda. She said, Miss Amanda, how you get on today? A strong Jamaican accent. Yeah. At times. Wow. And yet the poshest accent at times. Yeah. And I'd say, Mum, it didn't go well today. I got beaten and I didn't. Don't worry about that. Tomorrow's another day. Let's go. Yes. And that's what I've grown up with.
I love that.
Not, give up and I'd be like, oh, Mum, I'm not sure if I can get that. What do you mean you're not sure? Have you tried? And I've had that growing up. Yeah. I'm so lucky to have a mama whose glass is spilling over with positive vibes all the time. My daughter's got a potential option to go to Cambridge. And I said to if you get the grades, my mama said to me at the table, you mean when you get the grades?
Yes. I love her mentality. Oh my goodness. I need to see your mom. She's amazing.
And she had best shops at 82 years old, River Island and Zara. I mean, what the hell? Mama, what you like?
In terms of, where do you think she got that from? Do you know? Mum. It was her mum.
Her mum.
Yeah?
Yeah, she said from her mum. Her mum was very, very positive all the time, very positive. And she said she speaks a lot about her father, my grandfather, which I didn't have the benefit of knowing them both. But she speaks about them and she says, always. And that's when Mommy is so positive. Yeah. Literally, if at first you don't succeed, try and try again.
Wow. That is a blessing to have a mum like that. And I think, so I've heard a couple of things that she said. Do you think there's any piece of advice or almost like she gave you these little quotes in a way in your mind to kind of bring out at times? Do you mind sharing any of the best things that comes to mind?
Oh my gosh, Katie, man, you've got me on the flow now. I think the one that she stood out from 48 hours ago was, when one door closes, another one opens. So that's number one. So remember that from my mama. Yeah. Another one, she says to me, what's for you, nobody can't take from you. So when you think to yourself, I'm buying a house.
Yeah.
If that house is meant to be yours, it will be yours. And recently, a year ago coming up, we bought a farmhouse.
Okay.
And we had a year of trying to get this farmhouse. We didn't have the money. The other house we were buying didn't sell. Then they said it was unmortgageable. It was all kinds of shenanigans.
Yeah.
And we looked at 17 properties between me, my husband, and the kids. And we all kept saying, it's just not the farmhouse. And last year on September the 4th, our wedding anniversary, a letter came through the post from Halifax and it said, oh, you're mortgageable. But the Friday before that, I just told Matthew, oh, forget it. I threw a straw.
Yeah.
I said, just forget it. We're not buying the farmhouse. It's not happening. It's causing too much stress. And then this letter came through saying, we'll give you a mortgage. So I was like, Matt. But it's a Saturday. He's like, what, babe? I said, Matt, they're saying that they'll give us a mortgage. Phone them on Monday and say we're having the farmhouse. We got the completion and the keys on our daughter's 18th birthday last year.
Wow. Do you know, that is I have a parallel story, exactly the same, to the point that even the day we moved was the day of my daughter's birthday.
See?
The same bank. Halifax must have been like, you know what? These are the good people. We've got to sort them out. Yeah, nothing would work, and it was just everything, every little hurdle. But I think in that time, and that is, I do believe that, when it's for you.
Once for you.
Yeah, but we didn't give up though. I think, I think that there was definitely those moments where I thought, in this situation, I feel so many people would have said, I can't do this.
And of course, that's okay too. We have to accept
absolutely.
We have to accept that. Me, through my life coaching lens, I say, that's okay.
That's fine. Yeah.
If you're okay with that, that's okay. That wasn't okay for us.
But it wasn't, absolutely. Exactly the same.
It wasn't okay for us.
And but also I think what's interesting there is when you said about that, you just went, at one point went, that's it.
Yeah.
And I think that's surrender sometimes.
Yeah, surrender.
When you just say,
surrender. Oh my gosh, what an amazing word.
Yeah, but that's it. And it's almost like you said, we're not getting it, but it was almost like you stopped almost to a degree resisting it. It's a bit, I don't know, where the energy comes into it. It's almost.
Energy comes into it and you're fixating and you're being too much.
Yeah.
Surrender.
You want too much. It's almost like you're pushing it away somehow. And no matter what, something keeps pushing it. And I think when you finally go, do you know what's going to be is going to be. And it just
kept coming.
Yeah.
It kept coming
to the side. In the same way, that is just incredible. Wow. So obviously we spoke about, was there anything else? Because your mum has so many wisdom. I don't want to just lose any wisdom here. The
emptiest barrel makes the most noise. And I said, what do you mean by that, my mum? She said, people that don't have much always have something to say, to criticize.
Yeah.
To put others down. Ignore the haters.
Do you, and I don't know if you have that sort of thing happening, but...
Not really.
Yeah,
I've removed, and this is another thing for people as well to understand. So I'm trying not to divulge off the subject too much, but diversify too much. That's the word I'm looking for. But I think sometimes you have to declutter people in your life.
You are what you are around. Your circle is so important.
Absolutely. And your circle is and that's not, and you must never wish badness on anyone.
No, absolutely not.
Never bad, because I don't come from that. I don't come from that. I don't wish any, but it just means that our expiry date's gone past.
Yeah.
The sell-by date's done. The relationship needs to go, and you need to go and do your thing, and I do my thing. So my mum's saying the emptiest barrel makes the most noise. Sometimes you have to just leave people.
Yeah.
Leave them be. You know what, they've got too much to say, just leave them. Move over, slay in your lane. And
sometimes it's even like the boundaries that you have to set with people and how that can be, that's really important. Ooh. People are not able to and they're getting themselves in situations where they can and feel that they can and they have to. You have to put certain boundaries in.
Absolutely. It's imperative. Some of my favourite words are barriers and parameters. As a coach, I'm often talking to people, women, around, do you have your non-negotiable parameters and boundaries? And they're like, what do you mean? I said, what do you think I mean?
Yeah.
Because in life, you do need to have your non-negotiable barriers and parameters.
Absolutely.
You do. because otherwise you're trying to be a people pleaser for everything, and then you negate your own self. So I'm a huge one on that.
And I think if you do negate from yourself as well in that way, then you're not able to be the best version of you for other people then as well.
Absolutely. You can't keep giving from an empty cup.
Absolutely. No.
Yeah.
And it's because it's a lot that for people to understand, I think, so sort of that self-care and boundaries and doing what's right for you. Mm-hmm. And it's like, we've kind of almost been taught to believe this is not the right thing to do, but actually you become a better person.
Absolutely.
And you can help the next person, you can help your family, you can help.
So many people, once you set really strong, and I'm not saying don't be flexible, because we need a bit of flexibility and adaptability, but you do have to have your non-negotiables, because otherwise you end up being nothing. And as women, we can be nothing. We can sometimes make ourselves be nothing because we're trying to service and be a server to everybody else. Yeah.
I remember someone coming into my life and saying that. It was like, I was having this friendship and I'd always feel really bad almost after I'd see this person. And they were like, why are you doing that then? And sometimes you don't even realize, you almost don't question your behavior.
Yeah.
And someone will say, and you think, oh, actually,
yeah,
why am I allowing that to happen? Why do I let that person step over the mark and say things to me where I feel really rubbish or, whatever? And
so
it's
true.
Just like,
it's Katie, I've had that similar situation. And I would say to people, retract back and ask yourself, why are you doing that to yourself?
Yeah.
Say it out loud. Why would you go in somebody's company that doesn't make you feel good about yourself? I'm not saying they need to blow smoke up your bottom.
No,
Yeah,
but
I'm
I know
not
what you're saying.
that.
Yeah.
But why,
why should you feel bad?
Feel bad.
Yeah.
You feel like it's hard work.
Yeah.
No, it doesn't seem like it's the right formula for me.
And that's true. Today's episode was supported by the Queen's Hotel, a place I highly recommend to eat, drink and recharge, relax in comfort and design, build business and networks, to celebrate in style. The Queen's, time well spent. So going back to sort of life coaching, we were just talking about different things that we've learned. So you are a life coach.
Yes, I am. I kind of lifestyle coaching, health and wellness coaching, but life coaching, because that kind of encompasses life.
Yeah.
So obviously I use my background of health and fitness. I've been a personal trainer for 23 years. Came from background of athletics, know the ins and outs on sport, mindset. But I love fashion and fitness and food. I call it the 3 Fs. Fashion, fitness, foods, and 1 F if you annoy me. But we won't share that one.
Brilliant.
So health and fitness coach, probably lifestyle coach is probably more suited to me. I want people, and my mission statement is always to empower women and girls. Yeah. Of course, I will never turn away a guy that wants coaching from me. So,
And what would that entail then? How would people work with you? How do they reach you? What would be that next step?
Okay. They find me through podcasts, through just word of mouth, through my website. But how I work is I have a chat with them first, because what we have to understand is not everybody that will require your services. Your synergy doesn't often. Sometimes it doesn't meet. Haven't had it often. There's only been once where I've said to a parent who wanted me to coach her daughter, I'm not sure if your daughter needs me yet. She probably more needs a therapist. And there's a distinct difference. A therapist, a counsellor is very different to a life coach or a mentor. So I do a lot of mentoring, a lot of coaching. And I probably do about 6 sessions with somebody to start with, but I've had people for 18 months on my books. Wow. And I see them every 3 weeks, every 2 weeks, as and when they need to see me, and they come to me with a different goal or different, challenge. And when I'm coaching them, I ask them the questions.
Okay.
As a coach so tell me more about it. So what's stopping you?
Yeah.
I don't give them any answers, because their answers are within themselves. When I'm mentoring them, I'm able to share my experiences as a person.
Yeah.
And I might say, in my experience, I've had this, but that's me mentoring them. But coaching, really, all the answers are within themselves. All I'm doing is empowering them to look deeper, dig deeper. And there's a lot of silence sometimes in our sessions because they have to find the answers.
What do you think that is? Why do you think that they're not able to find them themselves? What do you think the reason behind it is generally?
stuck in a rut.
Yeah.
Stuck in a rut mindset, haven't got the open growth mindset to see what's within their control. And sometimes just breaking it down. One of the sessions that I do really well with some of my new clients is just saying to them, right, let's just spend half an hour of this session just going through your skill set.
Yeah.
What makes you so great? And they're like, I'm not great. I'm like, what do you mean? Tell me more. So straight away, the fact you said, I'm not great, let's unpick that.
Yeah.
What do you mean by that?
Yeah.
And by the time the session's finished, they're buzzing because they've realised that actually they are bloody good at makeup, or they're very good with people, or they're really good at admin. And you told me an hour ago you weren't that great.
It's almost like people feel like they can't be so honest about the things that they are good at. There's somewhere that we learn a little bit, somewhere that actually, I'm not great. It's better to kind of be that person than actually be someone who's empowered. Yeah. It's almost like, you're full of yourself a little bit. Potentially that's where I kind of try to work out, where do these things come from and what is that?
I completely agree with you. And, the American way, there's a little bit of positivity about Americans and their way. And they'll always say, oh, no, I'm brilliant at that.
Yeah.
Whereas the British way is very tight-lipped and almost like we don't want to seem arrogant by saying, oh, I'm really good at that. Yeah. But I'm telling people all the time now, we are very quick to say vehemently with the strong capital letters, I'm no good at that.
Yeah.
But you're not strong at saying, I'm brilliant at that. So it's almost like flipping it a little bit and saying, tell me what you're great at. So I know computers, I'm rubbish at them. But I'm getting better.
Yeah.
But I'm very happy to delegate and to get the support around me to help me with that area of my life. But when it comes to public speaking, coaching with people, that's my skill set. I'm brilliant at that. Yeah. And I'm owning that.
Yeah, that's
so,
brilliant.
And so it's about, I guess, the mindset and reframing a little bit.
And I think as well a bit of like self-love in there. Absolutely. There's like such self-hatred, and that's okay. I have a friend and she's just always like, it just looks so horrible. And I'm like, please don't use those words. And how did it become so acceptable for you to look at yourself and go, I just look so ugly?
Absolutely.
Please don't say that to yourself, because that's just, and I've been kind of saying to her, I'm not mentoring her or anything, but I just said to her last week, I said, let's just go to your little girl and think, if I wouldn't say it to her, don't say it to yourself. And she was like, that is going to be my new thing. I'm going to try to,
Absolutely. So it's just those little snippets of golden magic moments to share with people. I say, would you say that to your best friend?
Yeah. And the answer's always no. So no. Why is that acceptable?
Why is it acceptable to treat yourself like that? Why are you being so unkind to yourself?
Yeah.
So yes, you might not be, might not have this, or you might not have that, but find some positives about yourself. And sometimes it does take a good few sessions, probably 18 sessions for people to start realizing their worth.
Yeah.
Being kind to themselves.
Oh, their worth.
Their
you
worth.
Just think,
oh my gosh, their worth.
Yeah.
And you do find, whether we like it or not, it's more women that struggle with recognizing their self-worth.
Absolutely.
In my experience.
Yeah. No, I agree. And I think it is part of sort of the mind there, isn't it? Your mind is so strong. It's so powerful.
This can override everything.
And it's like, you're not even questioning that it's saying all these things. And actually, I always think, with your mind, you've got to kind of like, I try to meditate as much as I can. And I think that's a real good way to separate from your thinking and your thoughts. Because otherwise you're lost in there.
Absolutely.
And things become acceptable, like self-attacking. And it's like, no, that's not. I need to step away from that thought. And how do I do that? And I think meditation has been something good
meditation
for myself.
is huge, and something that I want to explore more about for myself.
Yeah.
Breathing has helped me a lot.
Yeah, breathing is
the breath.
Good. Yeah, absolutely.
It's so important. And
that's all connected with meditation.
It is.
So it's
hugely.
Just kind of going to that breath, isn't it? And just focusing there.
To the breath. It's huge. And that's why I then, for me, I paid for a one-to-one Pilates class with my Pilates lady.
Yeah.
Because I want my time to own, so I can really just zone out. Because I'm constantly giving.
Yeah.
And I give to my family, I give to my kids, I give to my husband. Don't get me wrong, I still get back.
And you take time out to give to charities as well.
My 3 charities.
Yeah.
So I have to give to me so that I can continue to give to others.
because you have such an incredible energy. You seem so positive. How do you manage those sort of darker days? Do you have them? Do they come? I mean, I'm sure they do, because everyone kind of can't have 100% high all the time. There's got to be a balance, and there's got to be some lows.
I'm going to be very honest with you, though. I don't have dark days.
No.
I have days where my light is not as bright.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah, I don't have... I'm being honest. I'm not saying in the future that I won't have darker days.
No.
You know, I'm sure when my mum passes away, and fingers crossed, when it's meant to be, I'm sure there'll be dark days then. But even when I think of that as one of my things that will probably is more than likely going to happen, fingers crossed she does go before me, because that's the way it's meant to be.
Yeah.
I'll always hear my mum saying to me, I say, Mommy, I don't know what I'm going to do when you go. And my mum, when I said that to Mommy a few years ago, 2 years ago, she said, Miss Manda, don't be stupid. You have to get on with life. You've got 3 kids and a husband.
You have got the most incredible mindset, you know.
And just with that, when those dark days happen, I will think of my mummy. Yeah. Because she's right. I have got 3 kids and a husband, and I've got my life ahead of me.
And she wouldn't want that.
And she would not want that. So when that dark day happens. Yeah. So, but in general, I have days where I'm flat. Yeah. Not feeling as motivated. Bloody hell, this is hard. Yeah. But dark, no.
And in terms of with your mum there, I think, because my dad, he passed away, and I think with that, it's a case of saying, right, what do I want to think about with this? And I think sometimes well, if my dad had been ill for the rest of time, that's not fair either. And in another way, like the death, his passing was almost like the release of that being in that state for the rest of eternity. Absolutely. Where I wanted to keep him here with me forever, but then actually, you know, death was this kind of release from the pain as well, which is sort of another way to think about this sometimes.
That's a really nice
and everything is that, isn't it? It's just how you think about it.
It's processing it, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I think when we talk about death, last year my dad just suddenly died. Just died. He's fine. I spoke to him at 4:10. By 11 they rang to say your dad's dead. And I was in absolute shock and devastation. But I said to my husband, and you know what, I'm okay, because Daddy didn't suffer. And yes, it's hard on me, and it's left to me to sort everything out, but he didn't suffer. And it's almost like Daddy said, you know what, I'm gonna go so that I don't have to be a burden on my daughter. And so she can look after her mum, because my dad really loved my mum, even though they were divorced for many years. They were very good friends. And it's like I said, I can't put that burden on her with her mum and me. So I'm just going to have an illness, whatever it was, and I'm going to go very quickly. And that's where I look at it. That's how I processed it, because I couldn't have done it all. Plus being perimenopausal, 3 children, my mum aging, and my lifestyle and my career. I couldn't, because you can't do it all.
No. And you have to as well enjoy your time. I think that's what I was thinking with my dad, man. I think he won't want me to. I mean, I've had my tears. I've had a lot of, you know, and there'll be these days every now and again, and it'll come up, something will remind you, or you'll see something.
Song and stuff.
And that's okay. That's I think that's grief is a thing. It's like you learn to deal with it. You learn to live with the grief rather than get over it sometimes, I think. And that's okay. But I think he would, knowing how much he loved my girls, he would never ever want them to suffer and us to suffer. So I think each day I just try to go, right, okay, that's what's happened. That's what's happened, and I can't change it. So let's just keep moving.
Compartmentalize.
Yeah, and just sort of move forward. But
you have to. But you know, and again, that's real life.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And that's why, for me, and I don't know how old your papa was, but for me, my daddy was 82.
Yeah, he was 68.
So he was young for me to say that he was young.
Yeah.
But you're still younger than him. You've still got your life to live.
Exactly, yeah.
So that's where I look at it.
I think, and you just kind of look at, I remember thinking, I saw that between mine and his age when he died, I had around about 30 summers. And I was like, every summer's going to be.
I love that.
I was just like, this is it. I've got 30 left, right?
30 summers.
To that point, I was just
that's magnificent.
Yeah, I thought this
30 summers.
Yeah.
That's profound, man.
Yeah.
I like that. I might have to steal that one.
Yeah, every time I say that, a friend of mine, she's out in Cyprus, and I went out to see her last year, and she lives in this beautiful country, absolutely stunning. We went on this gorgeous little sort of like sunset cruise thing. And anyway, the next time I saw her, we went on this boat the same. And I was like, are we jumping off then? She was like, oh, no. And I said to her the analogy of the 30 summers. And she messages me. She's like, I've jumped off another boat.
And see what I mean? I love it.
Yeah.
She's because like, the realization you just
living my best life.
Living your best life.
I am living it. And she'd not snorkeled. I was like, how have you not looked your head under this beautiful blue lagoon? This is incredible. I was like, put your head down. So then that was another. I was just like, yeah. And honestly, I get messages all the time. And she's like, doing this 30 summers. And I'm like,
wicked.
Brilliant.
I love it. All over it.
It's great. So obviously that's a lovely thing that you can take. What is there anything anyone else has ever said to you? What would you say? Obviously your mum aside, what would be the best piece of advice or piece of advice you've ever heard, or something that comes to mind?
Oh my gosh, I don't know about ever heard, but my husband, who needs to be dutifully spoken about because he's bloody brilliant, Matt, and has helped me through a hell of a lot, Matt says to me every time I'm going to do a talk or a motivational speech or whatever it might be, he says, just go and do you, Griff.
Yeah.
Go and do you. And for 2 Christmases ago, he got me a plaque made, and it's in my bedroom wall. To my wife, do you.
Oh.
And actually, when I do me, I'm doing me.
Yeah, that's...
Because I'm showing up as my authentic self. And even now it makes me want to cry because just do you.
Yeah. People have so many...
They struggle with trying to be this and that and trying to fit in people's boxes and live up to that and expectations of do you. And do you great. And do you well.
And why not?
Hello?
It's 30 summers, come on.
30 summers, babe. 30 summers and do you. Come on.
It is, isn't it? You've got to.
So I think that's one that rings through to me daily.
And that's such a lovely...
Daily.
Yeah, that is amazing.
Daily. That's not one that in every few weeks. Daily. Coming here today, Griff, and he calls me Griff, Michelle Griffith-Robinson. Griff, do you, babe. He came to one of my women's aid talks the other day, and just before I went on stage, he looked over me, and there's only 2 men in the room, him and another guy with 300 women, and he went, Griff, do you.
Kind of brings you back, grounds you almost.
Brings you back down,
right
to
here.
senses it right here in that moment.
Yeah. Don't be in your head. Don't think about anything else. Just do you. Flow with your moment. Yeah. That's amazing. So that's my big thing. And that's a lovely thing that is there. That I just want to touch on kindness, because I know you had a kindness campaign. And to me, kindness sometimes makes me cry. It's the most beautiful thing, honestly. I don't know what this is, but I can see something and just someone helping someone, and I'm close to tears, and I think it's the most beautiful thing. Yeah.
And going back to my mum again, when I did the kindness campaign, it was a campaign with my jewellery company, Kit Heath.
Okay.
And Hello Magazine with Rosie Nixon. I came up with this little pod and idea and stuff.
Yeah.
A kindness necklace. And she said to me, why does it mean so much to you? And I said, because in a world where you can be anything, the most important thing is to be kind. And one of the quotes my mum says, be kind to people because you never know what's going on behind closed doors.
Absolutely.
And she said, and when you walk along the street and you think that everything's great for you, you never know when you might need somebody to give you a helping hand. And a helping hand is not necessarily financial.
No.
It could be emotional. Yeah?
Yeah.
And the other day...
It can just be a smile.
Just a smile, compliment somebody. If you're walking along the street, today I walked into here, I saw a lady with a beautiful dress and I said, your dress is fabulous.
Yeah.
Her face bloomed.
Yeah. And women need it, especially, I think.
Oh my gosh, women need it. She probably spent 2 hours upstairs trying to make herself look presentable. And shall I wear this? Oh, I'm not sure.
Yeah.
And I've just come along, and she did look fabulous.
Yeah.
I said, your dress is stunning. She said, oh, thank you so much. But I'm going to tell you about kindness, why it's means so much to me. The other day we went into Waitrose, and my daughter was with me. We just finished a competition. Both my girls are really sporty and into athletics as well. And this lady said to my daughter, so what are you doing now? She said, I've just finished my A-levels. She said, where are you hoping to go? And she said, I'm hoping to go to Cambridge. And she said, are you? She said, yeah, I've been given an offer for Cambridge. The lady got up out of her seat, walked over to an orchid, used her card, her own Waitrose discount card plus her own money, and said to my daughter, here's an orchid. I want you to think, every time you look at this, to think of me and to think what achievement you've achieved so far by getting an offer for Cambridge. Take this orchid, and when you go to Cambridge, take it with you. Both me and I've never met this woman in my life.
Wow.
Both me and my daughter sat there, tears down, and I said, Reese, and she said, Mommy, that's never happened to me before. I said, Reese, an act of kindness. And let's be honest here, that orchid was £16, £18. But for my daughter, she will look at that for a long, long time. Longer than £18.
It's just so amazing.
Act of kindness.
Yeah. It's beautiful, isn't it?
Beautiful. She didn't have to do that.
No.
She didn't have to go out of, she got up out of her chair. There was a queue of people thinking, where's this bloody woman I want to get the shopping for?
Yeah.
And that's why I say to you, be kind. Because now the lesson that's taught my daughter straight away is, bearing in mind she's often around us talking about kindness. Yeah. This is a stranger. And when I see people on the street, and I say to Reese, there's homeless people and we see them all the time. Christmas Day last year, we got up, we finished, we had a big old dinner, all of our family. There was surplus amounts of food left over. Yeah. And I said, Reese, come on, we're going to Barnstable. We're going to go and hand out some Christmas dinner. And she said, Mommy, don't overheat it. She said, no, Mommy, heat it properly so when it cools, by the time we get there, it's still warm. And we packaged up 6 dinners. Because I want my kids to know, no matter what, you may see people on the street that you think are down and out. That could be you one day. Yeah. Be kind.
Absolutely.
Because that's within your gift. Yeah. That's within all of our gifts.
That's your blessing that you're able to do that for others.
Be kind.
Yeah. Oh my goodness, honestly. My little girl Lola, both have got such kind souls, but Lola in particular, sometimes she says things to me and I just cannot believe. It just warms my entire soul. I just feel like, wow. No matter what, she'll do the right thing. No matter what, she'll say the right thing.
It's precious.
She's, and I think I just want the world to be so much more kinder, like that. I do. I always say, be more Lola.
Be more Lola. Be more Lola.
It doesn't.
That's beautiful.
And also that, there are people out there, and I want people to know that there are people out there like that, because it's so easy to say, oh, everyone's out for themselves. Someone said that to me the other day, and I was like, no.
There's a lot of people out there that will go out their way to help you, that will stop, take a moment. Yeah. And reflect on where you are in your life and say, do you know what? There's somebody else worse off than me. And that brings it back to, and again, one of Mommy's quotes, when you think you're bad, there's always somebody worse off than you.
Absolutely. There is there as well, and that takes me to gratitude. I always think, be grateful. Yeah. Just be grateful. You got up today.
Absolutely. Sun shining.
Try to. And when you do that, when you focus on that, that's where life seems so much better.
Absolutely, 100%.
And you're, testament to that. Your positive kind of mental attitude seems to have. It's warmed our room anyway. I know that, and just listening to you, I just think that is an incredible.
I want to be kind. I want to help others. Sometimes I'm at the detriment of helping others too much. And again, we spoke about negating myself, but I've got better with that through my coaching as well, and through just life experiences. Just recognizing that I can't fix everything, and surrender, which is one of the words you use, which is so powerful. You can't fix everything. You can't be everywhere, and it's also okay to say no.
That's right. And just to say, just before we finish, what an achievement, what a wonderful. So we're holding up Women's Health magazine, and your beautiful face is here on the front.
Thank you.
How did this come about?
When George Floyd died in 2020, I just soon after that I spoke to Claire Sanderson, who's the editor of Women's Health. And I reached out to her and she responded back. And, I often speak about people being allies. And, again, with the whole Black Lives Matter movement, you need people to be allies and stand up and be counted.
Absolutely.
And I said to her, we need to see more visibility of Black women in those magazines. You need to see women over 50 in those magazines. It's all very well we're having these beautiful blonde girls of 22, 23. The stereotypical, I know, that's what we're saying. Yeah, I said, true. But more and more women want to be involved in fitness, activity, movement. But if you can't see if you can't see it, you can't believe it, you can't achieve it.
Yeah, it's true.
And she said to me, Michelle, just bear with me. I don't want to and this was her words, I don't want it just to be a knee-jerking reaction. I want it to be sustainable. Claire Sanderson is one of the main women out there, main people out there, white people out there that stuck to her words.
Wow.
And now you've got the front cover of Women's Health of myself, Saima and Izzy. Saima's of Muslim descent. I'm a black woman, and Izzy's on there. So it's fit at any age, and that was the front cover. It's amazing, and it just really just talks about being fit at any age and any stage. And so as I'm an ambassador for the menopause charity, I talk a lot about keeping fit mentally and physically, and don't let age become a barrier for you.
Nothing needs to be a barrier.
Amen.
That's the thing. Nothing.
Don't let anything be a barrier for you.
I just mentioned you. Obviously, you're ambassador for Menopause Charity, Women's Aid, Diabetes UK, and a lead mentor for Dame Kelly Holmes Trust. Do you want to mention anything about?
Yeah, the Menopause Charity. Again, that was Lorraine Candy. Again, she's the one that put my name forward to be. She said, I think Michelle would be a fantastic spokesperson for the menopause charity. And the reason why I joined the menopause charity, for one, because I'm going through that transition myself, perimenopause, menopause. And again, we know in my community, in the black community, it's something that's not spoken about readily. So we want to really have me as the face, the voice. Ladies, let's start talking up and getting what we deserve so we can thrive.
Yeah.
You know, so that's why I joined
you're not on your own
charity.
then.
You're not
it's
on
like
your own.
making sure people know they're not.
Absolutely.
You know?
You're not isolated.
Yeah.
So that's why I joined the menopause charity, which is again getting the traction that women deserve. Yeah. When you talk about women's health, again, and Women's Aid have just done a massive campaign with Marie Claire and YSL around abuse is not love, with Mel B's daughter Phoenix and Alice Livin, who's one of the leading top women's trainers, around our experiences around domestic abuse and emotional abuse. And these are charities that mean so much to me. Diabetes UK, because my mother's diabetic, my grandmother died from diabetes. I was diagnosed as pre-diabetic. So all of these charities mean so much to me. And again, it's having my voice, a pivotal voice, a face, a voice, so that people can reach out. And that's why it's so important for me to put in the work, you know, to these charities. And
it's so wonderful, honestly, you do that. Like, that's so kind, it's so giving, and it's really needed, you know, like that women can see you and relate and feel heard. Yeah. You know, I think even just with Women's Aid, you know, and domestic abuse, you know, there's a lot of women out there who are trapped in relationships with even like gaslighting and narcissists. And, you know, we don't really always know about this. And, you know, they don't even understand they're in abusive relationships sometimes. So it's really important that people are out there talking about these things to help people understand it's not okay that. It's not okay. Let's address this situation. Let's see. Again, it comes down to awareness and people not feeling and breaking the stigma, not feeling embarrassed that you're in these horrible relationships. But that's why we do work with these charities as well. You know, Diabetes UK, for people to be aware of the condition, that it's a very serious condition. It is, but you're not on your own, and there's support out there. And life can go on. Life can go on, and this is the thing: life can go on. And with all of these things, if you look at the three charities, and there's beautiful charities out there as well, beyond these. But Women's Aid, life can go on after an abusive relationship. Again, there's that. Life can go on when you're menopausal. Again, looking at that, life can go on, but you need a toolbox. Full of your tools so that you can go in there and say, right, I need this at this moment. Diabetes, life can go on with diabetes. You can live with it, but how do you live with it? Again, having your toolbox around you and your support system around you so you can thrive in life. So I'm just going to finish now with 3 big questions, which I ask everyone. 3 big questions on life. We've probably touched on some of these to a degree, but just whatever comes to mind. And, you know, I don't expect you to have the answers because no one has. But you may do. You might have like a long answer, which is great. Okay, so first question is, what do you think the key to success is? Positive mindset, brilliant support system, finding that support system that you need, but knowing who you are. Brilliant answer. I think actually you did know the answer. I know that one. You've got that one. I've got that one. What do you think the secret to happiness is? Contentment within your own self. And finally, what do you think the meaning of life is? It's the big one.
Huge one. Live each day. And not like it's your last, because I don't believe in that.
No.
Really, if I'm being honest. But live each day. Find the positive out of something each day. That's truly what I believe. Find the positive out of something each day. Every night, I go to bed and I give thanks for one thing. And every morning, I give thanks for a few things. So I give thanks for waking up, seeing outside, waking up with my children, waking up with my husband. Never take anything for granted.
I think gratitude is like the most powerful thing that...
Hugely.
Yeah. And it is, you know, coming from a place myself where I was able to look at the world in a more negative place and then to actually be able to now live with gratitude. I try to do 3 things that I'm grateful for every day.
Boom.
At the end of the day. I write that down and I try to always make them even, it can be anything. It can be something really small as like, you know, even like someone smiled at me today and, you know, I got that coffee and it was just perfect. You know?
Absolutely.
And it's just as small as that, but it just changes your life. It really does. It kind of reprograms yourself.
Oh my God, Katie, man, me and you, we could flex, definitely.
It does. I just think it's true. These are the things that have helped me and... Yeah, but I can just, in yourself, I just think if anyone could be, we said about being more Lola, but be more Michelle, honestly, because you have got the most incredible, like, soul and energy and just your mindset. I just think it is incredible to have such an, you know, a positive mindset. If anything, you know, take from today, you know, those that are listening is just positivity, how much that can, you know, people say, oh, mumbo jumbo. It's not, honestly, it can really have a powerful...
It's a game changer.
Yeah.
Because the mind is the mind is more powerful than anything else.
It's running the ship, isn't it? So
absolutely.
I'm just going to finish with a quote. So quotes to me have always been something that it can be just something that really helps. And obviously, even with your mum, I think, you know, just some of these amazing pieces of wisdom that she's given you. Yeah. So some of these quotes are, well, you get to choose one. So if you could just choose one just to finish off and just read it out. If you can read it, I will say.
Might need my glasses.
Or I can read it for you. That's fine.
Well, you're certainly ain't reading that.
Yeah, okay, I'll try my best.
She's trying. Do you know what she's trying to do? She's trying to make me really feel really old here.
But hang on a minute. Okay, so reaching your dreams will take effort, vision, focus, and belief, positivity, and happiness. That's something I'd written. Katie Ross at the end there.
I love that.
For you. Okay,
I'm going to screenshot that.
Oh, it's not even possible. It's so light as the print.
Linked in with the positive.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm going to screenshot that. That means that's my keepsake.
Yes, that's true.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for today. It's been an absolute pleasure speaking with you.
Thank you for having me on.
Thank you.
I feel very, very, very happy. Thank you.
Thank you.